Hello, check, check, check. Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Oh, did I did I start it too soon? Did you guys see me kick Matt out into the green room? That's funny. I feel like in my live preview it looked like it was like 20 seconds behind. Hello, good morning. How's it going? I'm going to share this link. This is where the party's at, Caesar. You got that right. Excuse me. 1 second. We got Mr. Matt Bell waiting in the wings. We're going to have some fun. Thumbs up the stream. And if you're feeling crazy, share this stream out to your favorite social media platform. Which is what I'm about to do. Type your questions in the chat for Mr. Matt Bell. We're going to bring him in here in a second. And we're going to talk disc golf. We're going to talk his re-sign, and we're going to talk the first round of the VPI that he played against Casey White. Bobby says, I got so many questions. Let me know if you can see me, hear me okay, everybody. We're going to give it a couple minutes just for people to get in here. It usually takes 3-4 minutes for the link to get shared out and refreshed. Yeah, see, so we've been live for 3 minutes and I'm just getting a notification on my phone. I've never called myself a professional streamer, so don't accuse me of being good at this, okay? But I've had the thought the other day, oh, I'll bet that's why people have those live stream countdowns. You know, you see when they go live, it's like stream starting soon. It's like counting down from 3 minutes or something. And I'm always like, why do they not just get prepared before? Why do they do that then? It's because it takes a few minutes to kind of get out there in the internet. In the internets. How pumped am I for 2021? I would say super to quite super pumped. Excuse me. Hey, Jed, how's it going? We're going to bring Matt in just a couple minutes. Happy Friday, by the way. TGIF, the first work week of 2021. We saw a couple calm days and then a couple crazy ones. And, here we are. It's a Friday, and maybe we can play some disc golf this weekend and relax a little bit. Who else is planning on playing? Yeah, I figured Trevor, I'm like, ask Matt your questions, and then you guys all start asking questions, and now I'm just answering them. You know what? I'm just not even going to bring Matt on. Just kidding. Oh, Nick, great question. But here, this is a dangerous question too. I got to tell you, full disclosure, I might not even supposed to be saying this, but you got to be careful. Because if you were going to try one DGA disc, I would recommend the DGA pipeline. But listen, you got to be careful. You start throwing the pipeline, and it's the gateway disc. 3 months from now, you're going to find yourself in one of our fan groups trading, buying, and the DGA pipeline is a bag wrecker. I'm telling you. And I mean that in the best way. But once you start throwing it, it is like, wow, this is magic. Where's this been all my life? What else do they have? And then pretty soon you got a full bag of DGA. I've seen it happen time and time again. So Nick, proceed with caution. He says, my middle name is Danger. That's awesome. Okay, guys, we got some viewers in here. I think the link's getting shared out. And I believe it's time to bring in the man himself, Mr. Matt Bell. Claps in the chat. Matt Bell, how's it going?
Thanks for the applause.
You're welcome. It was me and like 100 other people in the chat. You couldn't hear them, but they were typing claps.
Hmm.
mm. It's like I'm not buying it.
I can't
How?
see the chat feed. Is that normal?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. That is normal. You might want to open this link on your phone as well if you want to
Hmm.
see the chat. I just posted it in DGA all day, or you can go to our YouTube link, or I can send this right now to the thread that you and I had earlier. We've got a lot of questions rolling in already, so I want to
Let's
take
do
like
it.
just a couple minutes before we start into those because I think we could spend the whole time on those. But I wanted to take just a second to talk to you about like your disc golf career. Can you
Hmm.
give us the abridged version of how you started and what led you to DGA in the first place?
I suppose it started back when I was managing Pleasure Pizza down in Santa Cruz,
Pleasure
and
Pizza.
oh yeah, out there on Pleasure Point, 41st Ave,
Okay, good.
and we just had a new hire. His name is Jeremy, and we have little, frisbees that we serve the pizzas on sometimes.
Oh, nice.
And we started playing catch in the restaurant when there was no one in there, just me and him. And I'm carving it around surfboards and back to him, and he was totally blown away. He was like, "Have you ever played disc golf?" And I was like, "No." And the next day, he took me up to De La Viega and handed me a couple discs, and I just went to town on the course from day one. And continued playing around the Santa Cruz area for the next few years, and DGA's presence in the Monterey Bay is probably bigger than anywhere. So I got to learn to play with a lot of the DGA players and people at the time. So that was kind of the beginning.
So that knowledge, even though you went somewhere different right at first with your pro career, kind of the knowledge of who DGA was and what they were all about was always kind of with you. So it was kind of a natural progression back in 2018. Was that your first year with us?
Yes.
Fantastic. So you have been with DGA, Team DGA, for 2 years. You won an NT. You were already a world putting champion, and then you just continually proved that through massive circle one and circle two putts over and over again the last couple years.
Hmm.
And now we get to announce that you have re-signed for the next 3 seasons, which I was super excited to hear that we get to hang out for another 3 years. Looking forward
Right.
to that. Yeah.
That's exciting.
I also thought it was cool. It was 3 years. I mean, I feel like I don't hear about a lot of 3-year contracts. I feel like that kind of makes a statement too.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the idea, was to um, show them some good faith with the length of the contract, but it's also unique in that it can be reviewed at the end of each season, um, and changed by either party. So that was something unique that I thought was good. Even though it's a 3-year extension, there is room at the end of each season to renegotiate that contract. So
So
that's important.
you're saying like I'm gonna be here for the next 3 years, but we can talk about the details. We can make it work for both of us each year.
Yeah, because with the growth of the industry, is uncertain in the next few years. So
Sure.
for me to sign something that would be locked in for 3 years could be a mistake. So there was definitely needed to have those terms in there where it could be renegotiated. You know,
Yeah.
but The length of the contract is just to show um, my commitment
Yeah.
to them, as well as their commitment to me.
Yep.
It's a two-way
Exactly.
street. So
Yeah, for sure. A lot more awesome Matt Bell discs in our future, which I'm excited about.
that's right. And with the length of the contract like that, it helps, you know, flow through the off season as far as just keeping product and discs going throughout, the off season as well, and not just confined to one season.
Now you've got some plans, and actually, I'm gonna take a hard stop here because Mr. Casey White is in the chat, and he says, "I may have lost to Matt in the VPI, but at least I beat Simon in a game of putt immediately after that. Simon was not as lucky as Matt." Casey, thanks for being here. There's a spoiler too, by the way. Sorry, we were going to talk about your first round uh, against Casey in the VPI, but we'll get to that in a second.
That's right. It went right past everybody. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Yeah, when I talk,
Yeah.
they don't listen. It's you, so that actually works in our favor here.
Well, thank you for letting me through, Casey. Just stepping aside, letting me breeze through the first round. I appreciate that.
You have some plans as well to start producing your own content this year, right? Do you want to talk to people about that?
Yeah. So, there's definitely a lot of interest out there from what I hear as far as people wanting to know more about my philosophy on putting, and I could definitely talk about it all day. So, I think the biggest thing I'm having to deal with right now is trying to compact certain elements of it into short videos and doing like a couple of different series to start out with, and just try and keep it short, keep it basic for people, but at the same time have a decent amount of good content. So be looking for a YouTube channel series that'll be coming out in the next week or so, and also working on a website for myself so people can follow along with my exploits, and um, have a few things up there for sale as well to support the tour.
If you follow us on social at DGA Disc Golf anywhere, follow Matt on his Facebook and Instagram accounts. We will be talking a lot more about that coming up. And I've gotten a sneak preview of your first video. And guys, I'm telling you, like me as a disc golfer, I watched your first video and I'm like, oh, wow, that's fascinating. Like that's going to change how I practice putting. And yeah, it's just, I
That's the
am
hook right
so
there. I got to
excited.
hook people
Yeah,
with
you
that
got
first
me.
one.
You
All
got
right.
one loyal fan already.
And then we'll expand on it later. So.
Well, let's jump into talking about your first round of VPI 2, the virtual putting invitational done by the Disc Golf Pro Tour. You went up against Mr. Casey White, and yeah, there are some spoilers here. So if you haven't watched it, it aired exclusively on the Disc Golf Network, and you still plan to, you might want to tune out for this part of the conversation, because we are about to do, don't look. If you don't want spoilers, close your eyes. Here we go.
This is exclusive coverage outside of the Disc Golf Network. You can't
Oh,
get this anywhere else.
I've got you kind of covering the score. So here's your first round against Casey, and let me move you down
Okay,
just
so
a
it wasn't my
little
best
bit.
score from the previous VPI, but
Yeah, I was thinking
considering
that
the
you had some
conditions,
35s.
yeah, considering the conditions, I felt like I putted my best.
Yeah, if folks haven't seen it, you still need to go check it out because it's pretty incredible. You were both in about 30-degree temperatures.
hmm They
Snow
had
on
a
the
little
ground for
colder.
Casey. Yeah,
Casey had
yeah.
the snow on the ground, which you might as well be playing in the rain at that point because people would think snow is dry, but when it's around like 30 degrees, your disc it gets wet when it gets snow on it, and
Yeah.
you basically like playing a wet.
Yeah, so tough conditions for sure.
Yeah.
But you still managed to take it down, and I love. So would you just walk people through the format roughly if they're not familiar with how the VPI works before we talk about your scores?
Yeah, so you can see we have the 5 scoring stations here. and you put 5 putts from each station, the top number being the distance. So starting with 25 5-foot increments all the way out to 50. The first 2 stations, 25 and 30, are worth 1 point. The following 2 stations, 35 and 40, are worth 2 points. And then 45 and 50 are worth 3 points.
So which one of you, I guess you got to pick since you were the lower seed, or is it higher seeds pick? Who goes first?
Lower seed chooses, and
So,
I chose to go first. So I putted from the first 2 stations and then took a break while he putts the first 4 stations, I believe. Right? Is that how it works? Or
so
no, I keep going. I don't know. I think I
you
put the first 4 stations is how it works.
No.
you do 25 and 30, then he does 25 30 and then moves on and he starts the next round. So he essentially
Correct.
does 4 in a row as the second player. Then you do 4 in a row when you do 35 all the way through 50 and then he catches up with 45 and
Yes.
50. It is
Yes.
that part's a little confusing.
Yeah, it was probably hard for people to follow along, but basically I felt like there was a big advantage going first in that, if I'm feeling off to start the competition, I only have to do 2 stations. And like
Oh,
that
interesting.
to start is when you're probably going to have the most nerves and probably not the most confident. So for the next person to have to go and have to do 4 stations to start
Yeah.
with those nerves the whole time, I feel like that makes it a little more difficult, a little extra pressure to be good right off the bat.
The environment seemed pretty casual. I mean, Simon Lizotte was there with Casey filming him for his vlog, kind of ragging on him the whole time. And like Simon was kind of hyping you up there, which was amazing.
Yeah, I got to take it easy on Casey. Simon was doing that job for me, making sure he was razzed.
So you see an interesting trend here, which I think is pretty fascinating. You go 4 out of 5 on the first 2 stations, 3 out of 5 on the next 2, and 2 out of 5 on the last 2.
Hmm.
Which is just kind of speaks to your consistency, I think.
Yeah, those are easy percentages to look at and figure out.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. So 32, I mean, what we saw in VPI 1 is anything over 30 is pretty good, right? I mean, like that's anything over 30, you got a solid chance of moving on. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, yeah, that seems to be the number.
Yeah. You had a couple 35s, I think, but that's top of the line. I mean, not many people are getting 32, 35.
I'll be interested to look at the numbers when it's all said and done between the VPI 1 and VPI 2 because I feel like the numbers I've been putting up have been very consistent.
Mm-hmm. Do
Not
you
a
know
lot of
who you
swing.
go up against in round 2 in the Elite Eight?
Uh, well, based off of the bracket I saw, which I looked at it just the other day, I feel like trying to remember off the
Was
top
it
of my head. I don't have it.
Tom? Oh, that's fine. You can go to challenge.com and search for DGPT if you want to see the full bracket or see the bracket as it develops. We
I
got,
can't remember who Cameron Messerschmidt was matched up against, but I had him as my pick to get through to challenge me
okay.
the Elite Eight.
Um, I'm
I don't know
curious
who he's
about
going
that.
up,
Give me a second, actually. Let me look up Virtual Putting Invitational
which we'll
MPO.
find out tonight, I
Okay.
believe.
Yeah, so
He
tune
goes off tonight.
into. Oh, wow, that's the first one. That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, tune into Disc Golf Network tonight to see the next round. Matt, what is the name of your YouTube channel? Let me.
I think it's Matt Bell Disc Golf, but because I don't have any videos uploaded yet,
Oh, okay.
I don't think you can follow it or like it yet.
Well, we'll share a link to that everywhere when that gets live, when we get this first video up there. Okay, let's get to some questions. Thank you guys for asking. And wow, yeah, as per usual, the chat's active, and we're gonna have to kind of cherry pick from some of these first ones here. Trevor Harbolt wants to know, how pumped are you for 2021? And he used 4 exclamation marks and 2 question marks in that, so I think he's obviously very pumped. Yeah.
I'm super excited to start the season out in Vegas again. And then my next event will be Waco, which is one of my favorite tournaments of the year as far as the course goes. And then the Texas Swing, you've got the national tour is finally going to happen, it looks like, at Tyler State Park, which is a great facility. I'm really looking forward to that first month or so of tournaments. And pretty much just keeping my focus there. I don't want to look too far ahead as of now. Staying focused on Worlds, I think, is really important. So, if I'm thinking about the tour as a whole, I generally tend to find my way towards Worlds and thinking about that and planning around it.
Texas Fly Fisher asks, can we expect more DGA produced videos with Matt this year? The answer is absolutely.
Already in the works.
Already working on some stuff.
I'm going to try and meet up with Tyler at least twice this year, hopefully more than that, to film some content.
Yeah, I don't want to call our shot, but I would hope that DDO, since that's here in Kansas, I would hope we could get together for that. I know a few other Team DGA folks will be there. And then maybe who knows what travel's going to be like in May, but I am hoping, fingers crossed, to be out there for the Masters, out in California for the Masters Cup.
Oh, that's right. So it's not GBO anymore. It's DDO.
Yes, right. Yeah, what was formerly GBO.
Got it.
I hear Casey White says, I hear Matt Bell's going to be the new Paul MacBeth. Which, I mean, I think Paul MacBeth is going to want to be the new Matt Bell. Think about that for a minute. Chuck would like to see another in the bag. Nasser says, Matt, will you make it back to Salmon River at some point?
Ooh. I'll definitely be back in Cecilville. My shenanigans with Monkey will continue one day. The legend of Cecilville continues with or without me, but one day I'll be back there for sure.
Trevor Harbolt says, are we going to do some videos together on tour this year?
Oh, yeah. Definite collab. Got you, Trevor.
Sepp says, Matt, when are you going to announce Tour Series bonsais for 2021?
I'm working on it. Don't worry. I'm working on it. It's a good call out. I also just signed up for Texas States while we were talking. So
I'm in. That's awesome.
I had to take the certified rules exam, and I did it probably the fastest anyone's done the rules exam and passed the first time.
That's fantastic.
It took me about 3.5 minutes to answer 25 questions.
When you know the rules, you know the rules. Billy says, get Matt a Mach 7 to use in the VPI. And so talk about, because you're putting on your Mach Light, which I think is, you were able to get 32 points on the Mach Light, I think, just to test to how well it catches. For one thing, with the yard that you have, those putts are screaming into that basket. I mean, you've kind of got a ridge in your yard, so a lot of them are coming in kind of downhill, and they're just smashing. Even though your putt kind of falls in, they're hitting pretty hard, and they're still catching.
For sure. With the Mach Light, they have lighter chains, so I did have a strong side spit through at least once per, in the first match, but you also saw one or two that just hit the fabric square, but bounces up and in off the front of the cage. That would never go in on a normal basket. So, you got the lighter chains, but then you have the fabric with no nubs. So you're not getting the nub pulling them back out. They're
Yeah.
just sliding.
So
So it was a
maybe a little
toss
bit
up.
of a wash.
I think so. And it was a risk I was willing to take, as well as, it's just increasing my street cred if I go all the way with the mock light.
Yeah. The Billy reports as after round one, Ricky Steeler has the highest score in the VPI at 33 points, and On Scoggins has the FPO high score at 39 points, which is fantastic. So you're right. I mean, you're right there, almost tied with the highest score in round one.
Pretty close.
What tournament do
But
you have circled as the tournament you want to take down this year?
I've had to beat Own to win a putting contest.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. And she went first in this contest. She marched us all around
Yeah.
a circle in stations and made them all. And then when it came down to it, it was only me and her left. And I had to make like a 70-footer to beat her.
Oh man. But you
It was
did.
the only way. I did. I
That's
pulled it off.
that's fantastic. I've never actually seen her putt. Sounds like an amazing putter.
Check out her match. It's one of the better ones to watch for sure.
I'm sorry. So what tournament? Sep asks, what tournament do you have circled as the tournament you want to take down this year?
Well, since I'm playing Vegas first, and I've already confirmed this with my lady, I'm gonna focus on winning Vegas. I know it's something I can do. None of those holes are out of my reach or my ability to birdie them. So just need to make sure that give myself another good opportunity to have a chance to win it, which is all I can ask. So focus on Vegas, take it from there.
There you go. Stan Pratt says, "See you in Vegas, Matt."
Stan the man, first guy I ever watched make 2 putts consecutively outside of like 50 feet, and I'd only been playing maybe like 5 months, maybe at the most, and I show up at the course and Stan's at the practice basket and he makes 2 60-footers in a row.
Wow.
And I remember thinking like, ooh, it is possible. He just did it. And then I waited for Stan to leave, and then I went out there and I stayed there until I did it and made 2 in a row from about 60.
That's amazing.
So
That's awesome.
could credit Stan to my Circle 2 abilities. He made me a believer there the first few months.
Nick says, Matt, would you rather be a Jedi or a wizard? Asking
Jedi.
the real questions. What party? Scott asks,
Come on
what?
now. What do you think this is?
There you go.
I got him already.
Grogu.
All right, we go over there.
Scott says, what part of your game do you think needs the most work?
Oh, Scott, who? No.
Scott Gopri.
I always feel like my putter needs work, which I think is why I'm really good at it, because I'm always thinking it's not good enough. Driving could be better. Sidearms could be a little better. Up shots are pretty good. Scrambling, it's pretty good. I feel like just a lot of the separation on tour happens into headwinds. You don't see much variance in play under normal conditions. Everybody can kind of hang, but once you turn everybody into a headwind and they've got to throw accurate, that's where a lot of the separation happens, I feel like. So that's something I'll be practicing, making sure I'm ready for that this season and having the right disc to battle all the elements. Just continuing to try to stay well-rounded and work on everything as a whole.
Bobby Wasabi asks, what hole at De La is the most challenging to you?
Mentally, it'd probably be hole 14 because I never know if I want to go over the top with the sidearm or up the gut low with the strong hyzer punch. Now, I've birdied it both ways before, but I feel like it's just easier to get in a really good position with that low hyzer, but it's risky with that gate. You know, if you kick early, you're going to take a bogey. You go over the top, you're at least playing it safe, but then you probably got to make a putt in jail from the left. So that's probably the only hole at De La where like my game plan, I really don't know until I step up to it.
Shasta says Stan is the man. Caesar says Matt Bell versus Stan Pratt putting competition needs to happen.
Yes.
Who's your
agree.
money on, Matt? Your mentor or the Padawan?
If I'm not Matt Bell and I'm rooting from the outside perspective, I'm going with Stan. Going with the experience every time.
You heard it, Stan. You better start getting dusting off some putters. Get the rust off. We're going to have the putting event of the century.
That's right.
A couple more here. Trevor says Matt is an alien and never denies it. Chaser says, Matt, what's your greatest achievement in your disc golf career and why was it winning the one tag at Greystone?
Well, I'll tell you, Greystone is a tough course. As soon as we stepped up to the first tee, it started dumping snow. And that was my first time playing in like an outright blizzard for about an hour. So there's many times I wanted to give up, but pushed through, persevered, adapted. You know, it was just kind of the whole saga of my disc golf career in one round. So say well, that's what made that one special. But aside from, getting the Greystone tag, the Skylands tag is the real prize. I took it easy on the last couple of events for 2020 because I didn't want to do it to them and take their one tag at the end of the season. But the 2021 tag is next weekend, and that one I'm coming to play for. Number one.
Sorry, you and G have taken the tag too, right? Or one. You guys have been competing a little bit in the off season as a doubles team.
Yeah, we're very competitive. We play doubles just about every weekend for the local North New Jersey League. And we haven't lost yet in doubles. Knock on wood. That was pretty good.
There's some doubles teams that are packing up to drive up there right now.
Yeah, we've played some good teams and we beat them all. Last week was the first time we had somebody offer us sacrificial lambs. They handed us a couple 800 rated players.
Literally? Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so we sacrificed them.
Wow.
For our team.
It's brutal up there in the Northeast, you know? You gotta dog eat dog.
But then they were the only team to beat us. They beat us by one because they put their best players against some of our subsequent players and beat them. So it was a good move.
Stan says Titanics versus Steadies. I'm in. He also says Mentor's a bit strong. I'm definitely the underdog. And I would like to retract. Shasta pointed out that Stan doesn't have rust. So I would like to officially retract that statement. He has no dust to get off his putters, no rust to erase before your match. He's ready to go with those D-line Titanics, according to Matt Patterson.
And they're at least as old as 2010.
Nice. Tyler Ragsdale asks, if you weren't playing disc golf, what would your dream job be? I'm not going to read the second part.
Well, it was always to spend as much time as I could in the water surfing. And that's something I plan on doing again one day. So That'd be my dream job.
You've done quite a bit of surfing, right? I remember from a previous conversation with you.
Quite a bit, yeah. Right after I moved to Santa Cruz in like 2006, I surfed just about every day for the next 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
So, first 4 or 5 years of my adult life was spent in the water.
How many shark encounters did you have?
I've had a few, but only one that I know of with a great white up at Año Nuevo. Um, a couple of my friends were up there surfing, and there was some pros in the water that day. And right after I'd gotten out of the water, um, we're going up the beach, and the photographer had mentioned seeing a great white over where these birds had been circling, right where you kick out of the wave at the very end. And I'd been the last person over there, um, kicking out in that spot right before he saw the shark. So that's the closest I know of with the great white. I've had a couple encounters with other sharks, but the great
Like
white's really the only
like
one you
pool
got to worry about.
sharks?
No, we don't have bull sharks up there. It's too cold for them,
Yeah.
I think. Um, but leopard sharks and there was one time there was a nurse shark and a baby in Capitola when me and my friends were surfing, and it was quite a large shark, big enough to where a lot of people thought it was a great white, and they closed the beach for like a week. But right before the day before they closed it, me and my friend were surfing for hours with that shark swimming around with us. But we knew it wasn't a great white, so we weren't too worried about it. But um, yeah, you don't really got to worry about them. Just the great whites, at least in Santa Cruz. Other places, there's other things to worry about. But it's like going into the woods. You're not going to not go into the woods because there's bears. You
No,
know,
that's exactly why I don't go into the woods. Is because there's bears. So
some people. Uh,
Matt Patterson says, Matt, you need to make a putting video while surfing. Kind of a
that would be
mashup.
tough, but doable.
So
It'd be easier to throw sidearms on the board on
one
a
person
backhand.
has, oh, you could be surfing and then your mock light's on the beach. Or I was going to say you could fix a
Hmm.
mock light to the front of somebody else's basket and you just follow along behind them and putt into that. Just make it happen, okay? Just do something amazing.
All right.
So sharks are terrified of Matt Bell, is what the chat's thinking.
We actually did that in New Hampshire when I was surfing earlier this year. We had a basket on the beach, and as we're riding in, we're throwing sidearms at it.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, we just didn't release the footage because none of us made it.
It sounds like insanely difficult.
It's tough.
Has Matt already discussed his dog, and does the dog catch frisbees?
We haven't talked about the dog yet on this chat. Um, he has his own little Nerf frisbee, and I've strictly thrown rollers so far for him with it. So he doesn't go for frisbees. Taught him not to go for discs. So for now, he leaves them alone. But if he sees a roller, he thinks it's his Nerf disc, and he'll try and get it.
He'll go for it.
Yeah, but only on rollers.
Do you still have the Sarah Hokum Rogue roller, or that you use for roller? Oh no, is that? Oh gosh, did I step in something here? Is it not around anymore?
Yeah, like at the very end of last season, I threw that somewhere in a body of water.
Oh no.
God, I have one really similar though. It's really
Okay.
close. It's not like that really kind of almost CE type plastic
Mm.
that Sarah Hokum Rogue was, but it's close. It's close. It's a pro line, but it's got a little added stiffness to it. I feel like whatever run that was.
Well, luckily that one was immortalized in video a couple times actually, but one from I think the one I'm thinking of is from the Greater Hartford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we jumped off the tree right
Yes,
towards the
exactly.
end. That was great.
Well, it was going to be 10 feet from 400 feet away without the tree and, ended 5 feet because of the tree. So I don't think the tree helped it that much. It was more just kind of a theatrical landing more than anything. But that was such a pretty roller.
That was great.
Okay, I did a last call for questions here. We'll take a couple more. And, and then I've got some cat videos to watch, and you're going to get back to practicing being an amazing putter and making some YouTube content. Stan Pratt says, "What's the newest disc in your bag?"
The newest disc is, well, being the off season, I've been throwing a lot of different discs. Pretty much every time I go out to the course, I have different discs in there. But the one I really like that I'd like to get a handle on is the Rift,
I was going to ask about the Rift.
because it's so amazing how you can throw it and get it to go straight, or a little fade, like very late fade if you power it up right, and then you can also get it to go straight. And if you give it the touch, it can dump as far left as you want. So incredibly versatile. Um, and I'd like to get a handle on that one before the season starts.
Have the new Granite Quakes, D-line Quakes, have those made your bag at all, or are you more aftershock?
Um, I did get a couple of those Jawbreaker Quakes in my hands that everybody's raving about, and I really like them, but it was kind of mid-season, and I was like, not trying to uh, change anything up. So I have been throwing them a little bit this off season, and I do really like them. But I should say I'm only down to one because a local saw me throwing them, and he's like, "How much?" Like, I gotta have one. So I was like, did the right thing, I thought at the time, and sold it to him. So now I'm only down to one. So now I'm even more hesitant to you know, throw it in the bag.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
but
without
I do really
backups and
like
stuff.
it. It just it does is very similar to one of the aftershocks I'm throwing. So
Okay.
if
Stan
I didn't
also
have that
asked,
aftershock, that Quake would be in my bag, no
yeah,
problem.
any specific off-season routine?
Uh, Not really. Pretty much just taking it one day at a time. It's been pretty busy recently. My lady and I, our previous house we were at got sold, so we had to find a new place. Um, and we moved in last week, so that's kept us pretty busy, as well as playing a lot of disc golf. And I've had the puppy for like 3 months now, so I've been doing a lot of the training with him, and it's going awesome. And pretty much just making sure I'm eating good, eating a lot of good food, and then the normal answers you hear from people, you know, trying to train a little bit, increase my flexibility as well as strength a little bit, during the off season. So
Stretching, Netflix, snacking.
yeah, a lot of stretching on the couch with Netflix and a lot of snacks. But
I
no,
was
I'm also getting stronger and getting into some more advanced yoga techniques that I like to do yoga. So um, I've been able to get into a lot more advanced positions that I hadn't been able to in the past, and um, so that's like reaffirming I am getting stronger and more
yeah.
flexible. So
Any other, speaking of cooking, Sep wants to know any other hobbies you picked up during the off season or lockdown? I picked up cooking, he says.
hmm. um, new hobbies. Well, my girl did get me a set of golf clubs for Christmas. So I've been doing a little putting, a little swinging of the clubs, pretending like I'm out there on the course. I haven't got out there yet, but I plan on doing that in the next week. As well as my lady and I got to get out and hit the slopes. We haven't been snowboarding or skiing yet this season, so I'm gonna do that in the next week or two as well. No
Are
kind
you?
of new hobbies though, just kind of
Yeah.
visiting all my old ones.
Golf would that be a new hobby for you?
I've golfed about this much,
Yeah. So you can
so I
that
do have
that
some
counts.
experience. Yeah.
Are you aware that there are 95 mega DGA fans in a Slack group that call themselves the Bowie Boys?
They're slackliners, or
No,
did
no.
I get that
I'm gonna take
right?
that as a no. There's a communications platform called Slack, and there's a
Ah,
group, and they want you to come in there and say hi. Guys, I'll talk to him after the show. We'll see if we can get him in there.
uh-oh.
Stamp idea for the holidays 2021. Put a present stamp on the Rift and do a special edition gift. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, a couple more. I know Matt is a big fisherman. Spinning or bait casting?
Mm. Spinning, unless I really need to catch to eat, then I'll throw out the bait. But I take a lot of pride in being able to catch the most fish. I strongly believe 10% of the fishermen catch 90% of the fish. I
Wow.
consider myself in the 10%. So I'll always go spinning first. More action.
Okay, and lastly, Tyler Ragsdale asks, "Can we be best friends?"
Mm, I'm not going to say it's creepy because it's not yet. It's usually how those things go.
Oh man, that's a solid maybe, Tyler. All right, Matt. Thank you very much for joining us. Just to recap, congrats on your first round win over Casey White, VPI 2. We're gonna see
Thank you.
round. We're gonna see your Elite 8 round tonight on the Disc Golf Network. Is that right?
I don't believe so. So I believe
Oh,
tonight
okay.
is the other half of the 16.
Oh, right. That's what you were saying earlier. So we're gonna get to know everybody's scores and see how the brackets through round one's shaken out tonight.
Yeah, I'd have to look at
Okay.
the schedule again, but I'm pretty sure the following week, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they'll be doing the quarters, the semis, and the finals
Okay.
all in a row.
Fantastic. And as
At
soon
least
as
it's something really close to that.
okay. And as soon as Matt, congrats again on your re-sign with DGA for the next 3 seasons. Super excited about that. Yep.
Thank you. As well
And
as the new team members we got. We got Trevor, we
Trevor
got Noah,
Harbaugh,
we
Noah
got some other
Meitzma.
guys that are sticking around.
Yep.
Shasta.
Of course, Mr. Shasta in his 12th season now, I believe, if not
Hmm.
13th. I can't remember. I think it's 12th season with
We'll
Team
find a
DGA.
nice we'll find a nice pedestal to put Shasta up on when it's all
Seriously,
said and done.
we need to. And then lastly, your YouTube channel, kicking off this season. You're making content for that. And we are going to share that on all of our socials once that's up so that you guys can subscribe to that because it's going to be fantastic. I can't overhype it. I mean, you've got arguably the best disc golf putter in the world who's going to make um, detailed videos explaining what his thought process is about putting.
Hmm. That's right. And if you're a fellow professional, you're not allowed to watch these videos. It's only for the general public.
You know what? Actually, that makes me think we should put it behind a paywall on Vimeo or something, and they have to fill out an application to be able to see them, and we can vet
Mm.
the email addresses, make sure it's like
You got to be below 9
macbeth.paul87 at Yahoo signed up. We're like, nope, nothing doing. All right, thank you, Matt. Any last words you want to shout out Ridge Roller, OTB, DGA.
Yeah, obviously big thanks to DGA and then the DGA community and the family. You guys are the best, which is why it was such an easy decision to go with DGA in the first place. Ridge Roller, I just got my new cart in the mail yesterday, so I'll have a little photo shoot today with it, and I'll post a picture later. I want to give out to a shout out to Shasta. He just hit me up this morning, was like, "Hey, if there's anything you need, let me know."
Oh, that's
He's
awesome.
sending me some discs, which is like awesome. So thank you, Shasta. And then big shout out to OTB. You guys will hear more about that in the future, but um,
Some stuff in the
I'll be
works
joining
there.
them for this season. So keep an eye out for some Matt Bell gear heading their way, as well as we're working on an exclusive disc and stamp for OTB that might be special to their website that'll help support my tour. So
Fantastic.
keep an eye out for that, as well as all the Tour Series DGA will be putting out this year.
Okay. Yep. Chat saying thanks. Good luck. Tear it up this year. And I would reiterate, thanks for joining me, Matt, and thanks for everybody else who watched the live stream. We'll do this again soon, and we'll be sharing some links to Matt's channel soon.
Awesome.